Okay, I'm going to take a couple of questions here. Actually, Cathy, I'm going to unmute your microphone. Cathy, I just unmuted your microphone. Cathy Purdy, are you with me, Cathy? Hello, Cathy. I can hear something in the background. I'm not sure if you can hear me or not. Cathy Purdy? Okay, well, I'll come back to your question because I want to answer your question, but I want to make sure that we have a clear understanding of what it is. So, hey, Cathy, is that you? Cathy Purdy?
Yes.
There we go. So I wanted to answer your question,
Okay.
but I wanted to make sure I understood it.
All right.
Um, so why don't you give it to me again about the attention boxes on the front page?
Well, I was thinking of using them as a way to take people to certain categories, basically an archive page, certain categories of posts where they might want to see, say, all the book reviews. So I was thinking it would have maybe a background of one of the attention boxes would have a background that showed pictures of books on a shelf and the word book reviews, and when they clicked it, they would be taken to the archive page with the category of book reviews.
Yeah, you could certainly do that with a text box, right? Or
Mhm.
a text widget. But uh, this is going to sound silly, but I think I have a box that will do that, but I don't remember for sure. So let me just look here real quick. I have some. This is what I was thinking of, the taxonomy terms list. So, no, that's not actually what I was thinking of. Where's the, let's see. Let's look over here for a second. Um, MarketPress. Okay. I guess I don't have that set up. So what you would do would be to use a text box, right? And I would probably just set up a sandbox page. And I mean, you could do what Chris demonstrates, right? Chris demonstrates taking a page and using a featured image and putting some stuff in there and then having that link off to wherever you want it to link. And you could put a link in there to the category archive page that way, or you could use a text box where you
Right.
just insert the image and some text and a link to the category archive page. Or you could make it a widget area and use a text widget to do the same thing. But I don't have a box that that will show essentially a featured category.
Right.
It'll show you can use the query box to show posts inside that category, right? So it could have two or three posts inside that category instead of but it wouldn't link to the archive page itself.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay. Well, that's a couple of ways to approach it.
yeah, I mean that's an interesting suggestion. A featured category box where you choose the category and then you choose whether or not it's going to show
The
an
title, the
image,
category description.
right, and a link to the archive page.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like that idea. Um,
Well, maybe we'll see it in the next version of Carta.
well, probably not inside a Carta, but you probably will see it as a standalone box.
Okay.
Because I can see the benefit of having a very simple system of inserting that kind of information.
Yeah, because I've been blogging for over 10 years and I'd like to draw people into some of my older content.
Yeah, well, I can sure see where that would be a benefit, especially on a large scale blog like that. And you could theoretically, I mean, I suppose what most normal people would have to do is just code it in HTML and stick it in a text box.
Yeah.
But it would be, I think it's possible to create another box that would give you a little bit more control over that,
Good.
or
I
make it a
could
little
code it,
easier.
but then if you want to, my blog is about gardening, and so I would probably want to switch those categories, at least some of them seasonally.
Right, and it would be really easy for you to, if to switch them, what it meant was you just pick the category from a drop-down list,
Right,
and then it automatically goes and gets that information for you.
right.
I like that idea. I'll play with it a little bit. The
Okay.
problem with it is going to be probably that it'll have to be a plugin, because right now you can't install a box that installs dependent boxes.
Mm.
And you'd want dependent boxes like the category image and the category description and that kind of stuff. Those would be dependent boxes that you could insert just like you can do from the tray in a query box, right? So so it'd probably have to be a plugin that would create all those boxes. But it's an interesting idea. I will probably play with it this week.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
you betcha. Anything else?
No,
Okay. You have a great day.
thank you.
Bye bye. Let's see. Glenna, I'm going to unmute your microphone. Do you have, let's see, because Glenna's got a couple of questions. Hi, Glenna. I just unmuted your microphone.
Hi.
Hi. So you're asking questions about widgets. When you say, can
Yeah, I
you
was
use
just
widgets
curious.
other,
I'm sorry. I haven't done a WordPress website yet. I've always done the regular HTML type.
uh-huh.
So I've been looking at different things, and different themes have different widgets and shortcodes, and some of them have things you like and other ones don't. And I was just wondering, can you bring in others than the ones that you already have? Are they always limited to the theme that you pick, is what I mean?
Well, no, actually, more often than not, widgets are added when you use a plugin. So
Right.
if you add, you can add widgets. Plugins add widgets, and
Okay. So when I activate my plugins, the widgets become available.
yes, and you can use any
Okay.
widget that shows up in your widget panel. You can use.
Okay. That's wonderful. I really like yours so far because I've looked at, in fact, I've bought several of the frame creator types, like Headway and WP Theme Generator
Yeah,
and Ultimatum. And they're all so hard because they don't really explain. I love that about you. You have your cheat sheets. It's so wonderful because I kept saying if I knew where the things they were talking about was at, it would be so much easier to try to learn how to use it.
that's why I'm in business.
I know, and you're great at it, I have to say. Because it's very frustrating. You get all the books and all they tell you is like how to use it. And I understand CSS a little. I'm not stupid. Obviously, I did HTML, so it won't be a big problem. It was just figuring out what page to write it on or whatever,
Right.
how it worked. And that's what's so wonderful about yours because you tell you right exactly where it's going to affect it. That's really great.
So
Not something you get from regular books.
no, you're right. So you also asked a question about frames around featured images.
Yeah, I
Now,
was just wondering because yours are like just little pictures, and they'd look better if they were like your big picture with a pretty little frame around it, the little shadow. But your featured images, like you put on your header, and on the little boxes down there, they're just plain. They don't have anything around the edges
yeah,
on the
if
pictures.
the images were the right width, that
Uh
is,
huh.
if they were 640 pixels wide or 200 pixels wide,
Oh,
then you
because they changed
could
size.
actually do that. But if they're different widths, I mean the code that is written that creates that look is really
Mm-hmm.
dependent upon the width of the image.
Okay,
And
I
uh,
get it
yeah,
because it
so,
resizes.
yeah. Now, if you had images of those sizes, you
Mm-hmm.
would follow the same process that I follow in displaying that. So if
Mm-hmm.
we come over to the, let's go over to the single post for a second, because the image follows this box called featured image wrap.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if you had another image that you wanted, if you had an image that was 640 pixels wide that you wanted to have that same appearance, you would simply create another box and give it the class featured image wrap, and it would automatically then display the frame and the shadow. The same thing is
Great.
true with the thumbnail image. If you wanted that 200 pixel wide image to show up, you would create a box that had the class thumbnail wrap, and then put
Okay.
the thumbnail image inside, or put the image inside of it, and it would get that. But
Great.
that's how Carta shows the image with the wrapper.
Okay.
So
Looks nice, those do.
yeah, and let's see. I'm going to demonstrate how to create a full width header element later on in the session, because it is
Great.
possible to have, because you have complete control over the HTML. There's no
Yeah,
reason
that's
why
what I
you
was
can't
thinking.
do a full width element. You certainly
Okay.
can do a full width element. It's just that you have to build it, because it doesn't. There aren't any full width elements already built, but it's fairly easy to build. So
Yeah, I
I'll
sort of assumed I had to build it. I just wanted to know if it was, possible.
yeah, and it is possible, and I will be demonstrating that yet.
Great.
Okay,
Thank you. I very much appreciate it.
you're welcome. Talk to you soon. Okay, let's see. Okay, actually, Angie. Well, no, we're gonna get to styling widgets in a minute. Um, Let me just see. Heidi, where'd you go, Heidi? There you are. Hi, Heidi. I just unmuted your microphone.
Hi, Rick. Thanks.
You're welcome.
I got a quick question about the headers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm making a three-column header, such as what you described in your tutorial here.
Mm-hmm.
And in um, the middle column, I've got text in there. The website has a different title and tagline right now, so I can't necessarily put title and tagline. She's changing her business name, so it's got to be text and like a ULLI type of a thing. So it's going to be 2 lines of text.
Sure.
Um, the problem, and it seems very simple, straightforward, but the problem is that she's also including some images in what we would call her tagline. So how would you go about doing something like that?
What do you mean in the tagline?
Well, for instance, her tagline, or the text that we call a tagline, she's got 3 different words, and in between these 3 different words, she's got little hearts. Okay, it's part of her logo, so to speak.
So
So the
it's
hearts got
word, image, word, image, word.
correct. Yes.
Well, you can do that in HTML
Right.
just by taking the sentence itself and putting it in a p tag, and then putting an image tag directly in between the words for the heart.
Right. Uh-huh.
And as long as you don't specify any alignment for the image will just sit where it belongs. I mean, it will just sit where you put it. Now, it's not going to center vertically, right? The bottom of the image is going to sit there with the bottom of the text.
Right.
If you need to do all of that and have image centered, you might be better off making that whole thing an image rather than making any of that a text. Or you could do that as a background image, and then yeah, you could do it as a back. I mean, I guess there's a bunch of different ways you could align it.
Right now I've got it set up as a UL LI situation, so the words are tagged with an LI, and in between each LI I've got the images CSS linked. The only problem I'm having with the UL tag is centering, because that's, she has to have it centered directly underneath her title.
Yeah, I would have used a P tag instead. I wouldn't have used, if they're going to be sitting horizontally anyway. I would have used a single paragraph tag wrapping all of them. And then if you are going to use the images as CSS images, then I would wrap each section of that text in a span tag, give it a class, and then you can use that class to give yourself enough padding and arrange the image so that it fits the way you want it to fit.
Right.
I think that's going to be fundamentally easier than doing it as LIs.
Okay. The other problem I'm having too is getting the title low enough in there. I mean, I've already given it a padding or a margin that puts the title right center page, but what happens is the tagline alignment gets all screwed up at that point. Perhaps doing the P tag like you're suggesting will help with that.
I'm sure it will, yeah, especially if the title is one kind of a P tag and or an H1 or whatever it is, and the tagline is another one.
Okay.
As long as they're both wrapped individually, and they have their own class or ID applied to them, then you should be able to target their styles independently.
Right. Okay. The other problem I'm having is on the responsiveness of the image that I've got in the left square and the responsiveness of the widget on the right. They shrink too much. Now I know
well, are you doing this in Carta?
Not yet. I'm going to switch to Carta.
Okay, because the shrink too much has to do with whether or not you've specified a minimum width of the columns or not. And
which I have, but it's still going too small.
Well, but it must not be reading it though.
Right.
If you've specified a minimum width and the image looks fine in that minimum width, the image is not going to get any smaller unless there's some other problem.
Okay. All right. Well, I've had numerous problems with this. This is why I'm going to go to Carta on the particular thing, wasting too much time. So anyway, thank you very much.
You're welcome. You have a good day.
Mm-hmm.
Bye-bye. Okay, let's see. Okay, Ramona, I'm going to take your question now too, and then we'll move back to more of this. Ramona, I've just unmuted your microphone.
Can you hear me?
I can, yes.
Oh, great. Somehow I've totally messed up my nav menu. And in the old Thesis, you were able to go to the themes and then select the site and then go to pages and then you could click on the page and that would show up as your tab. But
Can you give me a
now,
URL?
yeah, it's backyardgenie.com. And I've just now
Did I
I've just
did I spell it correctly?
uh-huh. I was having that come up, but now I've got it back up. Refresh your screen and see if it correct. Well, now I've got the internal server error message.
Okay. So I've got it now. Let's see. Get image size, failed to open stream, internal server error in Backyard Genie content skins, car nude. Get image size. Are you using the latest version of Carta?
I just downloaded it, so
Okay. And
I'll get those top warnings corrected. But what I'm
because you
talking
don't
about
have
is
images in there right now, or what?
I do have images in those.
But they're not. It's not the right. Okay. Okay. The problem with these here is that there's a problem with the image itself, right?
Okay.
Either the URL is incorrect, or
Okay.
there's something wrong with the image.
Okay, I'll fix that.
Because this says get image size backyard genie. I mean, let's just look at that and see. Images tablet.jpg. Okay, well, part of your problem is that you're referencing the images.
Oh, I see. I've got the images twice. Do you see that?
I do see that.
Okay, if I go correct that, that should work.
Yeah, I mean, yes, if you corrected that, that would be better. Yes.
Okay.
That's what the
But
problem
my
is with those.
okay. But my problem on the site is if you scroll down, you can see the first blog post, and that's fine. But then, and that'll be the blog, so it's going to keep moving down as I add posts. But then if you click on the About Me, whoops, now you're going to get that. I've got to correct that. You'll go to the About Me page, but then how do you get back to the blog?
You have to create. You have to create your WordPress menu. I don't think you've created a WordPress menu here yet.
Okay.
And you would do that under Appearance and Menus, and you go create a menu, and then once you've created the menu, you can choose the menu that you want to show there. But this has been the case in WordPress for a couple of years now. And so under Appearance and Menus, you would create a new menu, give it a name, add the pages or whatever that you want added to it, and then save the menu. And then from inside the skin editor, you could then, inside the skin content section, I'm sorry, inside of skin content, then for the top nav menu top, you can choose which menu you want to show up. But right now, I'm guessing you don't have a menu. You haven't created one in WordPress, and so
Correct.
All it's doing is showing a page. But that's not what you want. You actually need to create a menu. As soon as you create a
Okay.
menu, you'll have a menu there.
Okay.
And if you don't know how to create a
Um,
menu, look on my site for, how to create a menu in WordPress, because it's a relatively simple thing to do. But using this system presupposes you have one. I love your
Okay, so,
graphics.
oh, thank you. Okay, I've corrected that other problem too. So if I search create a menu in WordPress,
Mm-hmm.
okay, because it used to be really easy, and now that option is gone.
Actually,
So,
this is way easier.
okay.
Because it's so much easier for you to control what goes into a menu. I mean, you know, it used to be really easy because there wasn't anything you could do about it. All you had
Mm-hmm.
to, you got whatever menu showed up. And then Thesis came along and gave you some ability to style and change your menu. But the new system is just so much more powerful, and you can organize your menu any way you want and put anything you want on your menu. That in the grand scheme of things, the new menu system is far easier to use than the old menu system was.
Okay, you've got two videos here, WordPress video tutorial, create your menu for your website. Then you've got the Thesis tutorial. Since I'm using Thesis, should I go to that one?
Doesn't matter because it's a WordPress function. So I
Okay, cool.
teach it in both Genesis and in Thesis.
Okay, cool. Thank
Okay,
you.
you're welcome. Have a good day.
I'm loving your tutorials and your sites and your skin and everything.
Well, I'm
I'll get
great.
it. Thanks.
Okay.